welcome to Live in the Hive. I'm Michelle Eagleton and you're watching the only online magazine show dedicated to theatre across Greater Manchester. We're here every Sunday night at 8 o'clock, streaming on I Love Manchester's Facebook page, the iconic city brand dedicated to community and culture. And we're also on our very own Live in the Hive Facebook page as well. Big thanks for joining us. If you love your theatre, stay with us for the next 30 minutes. We have got an absolutely cracking show. Tonight is a bit of a special for us here on Live in the Hive because we are taking a close-up look on Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, which is going to be on next week at the Hope Mill Theatre in Ancoats. We've got the stars of this wonderful production telling us all about what it's like to be in it. We've got Grace Mouat and Jacob Fowler. They're going to be joining us, and also the men behind the wonderful Hope Mill Theatre, Joe and Will. They are co-directing the show as well, so they'll be giving us lots of nuggets of information. Now, this is going to be so exciting. On top of that, we have got the two stars of that show doing a spine tingling duo that you definitely do not want to miss. So, should we crack on with the show, as they say? Well, I caught up with the wonderful Jacob and Grace earlier on this week. They were in rehearsals for the show. They have been in some of the most amazing productions in the West End. It's fantastic to get them here in Manchester. I wanted the lowdown, of course, so I grilled them to the max just for you. So let's find out what they had to say about starring in this wonderful production.
There's so much magic in it. Like, the music is just beautiful. So yeah, I'm really excited for audiences to get to see it.
Well, I've heard a little bit of you guys in action, and I've got to say, I got pure goosebumps. Oh, the vocals of you two singing this love duet. Jacob, how are you feeling about taking on the role of Topher?
I'm loving it. I mean, he's such a... When I first got the role, I thought I didn't really know Cinderella or this version of Cinderella. So my preconception was kind of, oh, it's the prince, which is good, but he's a bit like where. But he's not at all. Like, it's a new version of Cinderella, and he's very lovely. You know, there's no dark side to him, but he's very funny.
Just
actually,
normal.
A lot of the time. Yeah, he's like
so
boy
relatable.
next door.
Yeah.
And that's why I get on so much.
It's a little bit different though from playing JD and Heathers, I've got to say.
It is, yeah. It's very different, but it's nice. It's really nice. Like, it's nice to not every time you come on stage be the bad guy. You know, there's no part of Topher that's the bad guy at all, ever, or Ella. You know, there's a few characters that just don't have any bad streaks in the show. So yeah, it's refreshing.
I've got to say as well, Grace, you talked about kind of it being normal, kind of it being different. You tend to bag some of the coolest roles ever when it comes to female leads and everything. Let's talk Six, first off. And then Juliet in And Juliet. I mean, come on, girl.
Thank you. Yeah, kind of like similar to Jacob. Like, been lucky enough to do so many like pop musicals and really like American kind of, you know, those just classic cheesy musicals that we all know and love, like Legally Blonde, Be More Chill, and obviously Six and Juliet. And I think it's just, both of our hearts are really in this like legit musical theatre, like that classical era, also with a bit of contemporary twist on it. So the fact that we get to kind of do this and get to experience this together, I think is so cool, because we were just so desperate to do Rodgers and Hammerstein. So it's so amazing to have such a varied list of shows going on, but I literally wouldn't take any of it for granted or change any of it. It's just the way the universe works, and it shows you just never know what's around the corner. So yeah, very grateful.
Absolutely. You're in rehearsals at the moment. We are very excited to see this to come to fruition. I love Hope Mill Theatre. It is one of my favourite theatres, that space and everything. Can you give a little bit away, Jacob, about what we might see on stage? How are they going to transform that area, that space?
Oh, well, I think I can say that there's a revolve.
Yeah.
Can I say that? We've got a revolve that's that obviously revolves the stage, but I don't think the Hope Mill has ever seen that before. You wouldn't expect a space like the Hope Mill to have a Revolve, but
Yeah.
and we've not seen it yet, but when we're like choreographing in the sections that are going to be placed on the Revolve, it's going to be special. I think it's going to be like nothing the Hope Mill's ever seen before. In, you know, apparently all the productions there have been incredible. I've never seen. Have you seen one there?
Yeah, I saw
Oh, you
Spring
have.
Awakening in Rent.
Yeah.
The minute I stepped in there, I knew that it was like a bucket list venue. Like, there's just something about the place where you're like, I have to work here at some point, and the team obviously as well. But yeah, I think this is the biggest show that they've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And we just have so much trust in Joe and Will and the whole team involved. Like, it takes a whole village of people to put on a show. It's not just the people you see on stage.
Especially this show we've got projection. Projection is quite a big part, you know, but not like just projecting on like a white canvas, you know, like projection that fits so well with the show that you wouldn't almost know it's projection.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's so special about doing Cinderella here, is that, you know, we haven't got the thing to be like on Broadway where they're like, you know, then we'll just have another like £50,000 on a floating cottage, and then we'll just bring in this magic thing, and like we'll have this flying from the sky. Like, it makes you really have to work harder on the storytelling and like taking the audience with you on this journey, when you and just having them with you on every step of the way, even though we haven't got those like massive things. But I say that, but some of the magic that happens in this show is epic. Like, it is going to be a spectacle, but in a sense of you are in it with us, because it is that intimate kind of venue that you're going to feel like you're in the magic with us.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Grace, because I do feel with Hope Mill, what they tend to do is it's about the performance. It's about kind of the gravitas of the performance rather than the extras. And you kind of like ignore all the other bits. And I think that's why they've had people like Ruthie Henshaw, Maureen Lipman, you know, come and want to be on that stage. And you guys as well joining that stage. And the fact that you've come from the West End as well. It's like, oh my God, this is incredible to have been in these big shows, and now we get to see you here at Hope Mill. I've got to say, I'm a bit worried about your feet though, Grace, because I know you said you wanted a magic wand to transfer the glass slippers into glass Crocs. Is that going to happen?
Did you say that?
I put it on my Instagram because I have these sparkly silver Crocs, and I was like,
I've seen them. They look good.
Yeah, I was like, this would actually be iconic.
You've
but
got to wear them one day.
I know. I was like, the final matinee, I might just put them on and
No, do it. I think you should. Did you wear those when you did the trailer? Because I saw this gorgeous trailer of you spinning around in your beautiful dress, and I'm thinking, surely you're going to go a cropper.
No, I was wearing heels in the shoot, but it was just when I was like walking around from the different locations that I put my Crocs on, because I can't do heels.
I bow down to. I really bow down to you. So there you go. We'll see if I can speak to Joe and Will later on and see if we can get them with the Crocs. You never know. Now, you come from like two different areas of like the performance background, but kind of are doing the same thing outside of it. This is like a little bit of a crossover. You do your musical theatre, but you guys, girl band, boy band. This is amazing. I love it. I feel like there should be a bit of a mix mash of like, you know, a collaboration going on between Seven and your band as well, that it won the Little Mix Search.
Yeah. It's so crazy that we are in those, or were in
We're
those.
just the same person.
Yeah, like you'd never expect those people to go on and do a legit Rodgers and Hammerstein show, but that's what we've done. But like Grace said earlier, it's because we've both got this passion for legit musical theatre, and it's not completely legit, but it is. You know, there's a lot of elements of it, and in its core, it is, because it's Rodgers and Hammerstein. But yeah, we just can't wait.
Yeah, we're just the kind of people as well. We just love to do everything.
Oh, I just love musical theatre.
Don't ever box yourself.
So stagey, yeah.
I don't know how you fit it all in. How do you manage to kind of juggle, you know, being on stage and then doing gigs as well up and down the country?
It's super tough for sure. Like it's super tough, especially when there's 7 of us.
Yeah.
But we always make it work because it is just something that we love so much. Like I was in the studio the other day, and yeah, it's just something that we just have to make it work and grab that time when we can. And when we are together, we are absolute working machines. And don't get me wrong, we do have the time to like chill and, you know, be pals and stuff, but we are on it. We work so well together because we already have that bond. But yeah, I just love to do it all.
And one of the girls in the group, she was in Rent at Hope Mill.
Millie and Maya.
Yes. Are
Yes.
they going to be coming?
Oh yeah, for sure. I hope so. Millie's playing Cher at the moment in the Cher show.
She is, isn't she?
Yeah, but I feel like we might be in the north at the same time. So I'm hoping that they're all going to come. I know they're all going to come. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it's hard, isn't it, with all my friends who live in London. Maya lives in Manchester, so I know that she's going to be there probably about 10 times, knowing her. But yeah, with our friends in Manchester, we're like, oh, I know it's a trek, but I would really love for you to come and watch me in Manchester. Who live in London? Sorry. Yeah. So we'll see.
Fabulous. Do you know what? I saw Lucy Moss, obviously one of the creators of Six, at Hope Mill a couple of productions ago, and I was like, oh my God, there's Lucy. So, you know, everybody gets down to Hope Mill. Are you going to have some fans coming from London, Jacob?
I think a lot of Heather's fans have messaged me and said, we're going to come, like, when's best to come? And I'm like, just whenever, you know, it's I think people know it's going to be quite a special production, which, like, you know, it always is at the Hope Mill, but this one is, they have said, they've gone on record to say it is the biggest they've ever done. And, you know, I think it's just the time of year it's at, the type of show it is. It's going to be very special and very, very sentimental to all of us, I think.
Do you know what? I actually looked at the version with Whitney and Brandy recently, and it's like, because this was originally a made-for-TV musical, wasn't it? Because back in the day, I think the first person who played Ella would have been Julie Andrews.
Yeah, I think it was 1957 or something like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs were actually like written for her, which is really cool, and then have just been adapted over time with all of these like iconic people who've played Cinderella.
Absolutely.
It's just, it's amazing.
And so when we see you play Ella, are you going to then put a different stamp on it? Is there going to be a new kind of formation of Ella?
I hope so. I'm really trying to find who my version is. But I feel like the legacy will only live on if we get a cast recording, Joe and Will.
Oh, wow. It has to happen. That's it. It's put out there to the gods. Let's make this happen. Wow, that would be amazing. And like I say, you know, I've only heard snippets of you two in action, but I just think if that's the start of it, that soundtrack is going to be absolutely blooming amazing. You are here until the 11th of December, aren't you? Is there anything that you're hoping to do while you're in Manchester if you get a little bit of a break?
Oh, so much. Yeah. Obviously, I feel like no one does roast dinners like Manchester.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fact. Christmas markets.
Oh, yeah.
We all want to go to Karen's Diner.
Yes, that is very, very good. That is around the corner from where I live, actually, and they're very offensive at Karen's Diner.
I love it. I think it's been such a fun experience. Just like going to the nice restaurants and bars and having a mulled wine after a show would be lovely.
Oh, brilliant. And are you going to get any chance for any rest over Christmas time after this finishes?
I think I've got some rest planned. Yeah. I don't think anyone, because of the time of year it's fallen. It's quite a nice time where we finish just before Christmas. I think people are having maybe those two. Well, I know I am having those like 2 weeks off, and then it's like January's a new year. We can start. It's come at a very nice time. So yeah, I'm planning on going back and just lying in a bath for like 2 weeks and just eating chocolate.
Oh, that sounds good. I would like to say I'd love to join you, but that sounds all kinds of doesn't it? Anyway, on that note, I am looking forward to seeing this so much. Honestly, I cannot wait for this. I think the casting is perfect. It's going to be great having you at Hope Mill Theatre, and yeah, I'll wear some Crocs in your honour, Grace.
They have to be the sparkly ones, though.
I'll see what I can do. If I'm in the front row waggling my feet, you know that I'm here.
That's going to be the new Cinderella merch, sparkly Crocs.
Woo! Two of the loveliest West End stars there, Grace and Jacob, getting ready for Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And of course, you want to hear them sing, don't you? I teased it earlier on. I have seen them perform this track. It is going to give you goosebumps. Are you ready for this? It is Grace and Jacob performing Do I Love You from Cinderella. Enjoy.
Do I love you because you're beautiful? Or are you beautiful because I love you? Am I making believe I see in you a girl too lovely to be really true? Do I want you because you're wonderful? Or are you wonderful because I want you? Are you the sweet invention of a lover's dream? Or are you really as beautiful as you seem?
Am I making believe I see in you a man too perfect to be really true? Do I want you because you're wonderful? Or are you wonderful because I want you?
Oh, I told you they were amazing, didn't I? What a performance there from Grace and Jacob of Do I Love You from Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella that is soon to be on at the Hope Mill Theatre. In fact, next week it opens. It is so exciting. Now, if you've never been to the Hope Mill before, you definitely have to get yourself down there for this production and lots of other productions too. It's a brilliant venue tucked away in Ancoats. It's been there since 2015 and it's just gone from strength to strength. And the guys behind Hope Mill Theatre are Joseph Houston and Will Whelton. I got to catch up with them whilst they were in rehearsals for Cinderella to find out what it's like to put on such a big production like this on the Hope Mill stage, and also what it's been like for them over the past 7 years. Take a look. Guys, how long have we waited for this, and how sweet does it feel to be sat here knowing it's coming?
It has been the most anticipated show that we've ever worked on. I mean, we got the rights to this show in 2019.
Well, no, it's been almost 4 years we've been working on this show.
There you go. I don't even remember how long it's been. It's been that long. And the process of starting it, all the way through 2019 into early 2020, with the announcing the show, getting it on sale, bringing this amazing team together. And then obviously we know how the story went, and it ended up being this show was Hope Mill Theatre's first COVID victim. So we cancelled the show because it was supposed to happen in May, June of 2020, and we just knew that by the March we were supposed to go into rehearsals in 6 weeks. We just knew that was going to happen. So yeah, and then although we said it was cancelled, we knew it would come back at some point, but we just didn't know when. And we had a few other shows that had to sort of happen before that, like Rent and Wiz. So it's really, I can't tell you how like nervous we were to just like make it happen, because it's been around for so long.
I know, but I tell you what, it's definitely worth the wait. The cast itself is fantastic. I've just spoken to the lovely Grace, and we've just spoken to Jacob as well. They are amazing. I've seen them sing. They released a trailer and some snippets. I've got goosebumps. I cannot wait. But what I love about you guys is you just have this ability to choose things that haven't been chose for ages and revive them, or things that we've possibly heard of but have not got that recognition that it should have. They go on at Hope Mill and it's a smash.
Hopefully,
yeah. I guess we probably do choose the sort of, I guess, more obscure titles and more rare boutique revivals, I guess. I mean, there's nothing sort of boutique and small about this show, but yeah, I think we fell in love with this particular show years and years ago with the Whitney and Brandy Disney version of the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical. And it really is a classic. The music, everything about it's just incredible. So when we found out that there'd been a 2013 Broadway revival that had, a new updated book and some new music from Rodgers and Hammerstein's back catalogue, we just knew it was something that we wanted to create for a Hope Mill audience. And I think as well, we always want to blow boundaries and expectations of what is possible in a small space. So we're not going Cinderella's too big for Hope Mill. We're going, let's do Cinderella at Hope Mill, which seemed like a good idea 4 years ago.
It is going to be an absolutely fantastic idea. They've told me a little bit, they've not given too much away, don't tell them off, about some projections, about possibly kind of a set move at some point. Yeah, it is just, it's exciting to think about how it is going to pan out there. But I do, going back to what I said, I think you've held that integrity, and it's kind of, you never seem to sell out in terms of, just go for kind of the ones that are possibly a phantom, the ones that you're going to get that crowd in for. And I've got to say, things like Passion, and then Rags, you're getting all these amazing songwriters. Like, you've got Sondheim, you've got Stephen Schwartz. They have to put their trust in you, don't they, to make sure that you do their production justice. And how does that feel for you guys, knowing you've got their seal of approval?
Listen, it's incredible because, Will and I come from musical theatre backgrounds. So all of these giants in the industry and composers and writers, we've admired and been inspired by for a long, long time. So when you finally get, that their baby is handed to you, and especially at the Hope Mill, because of course, as you know, every show at the Hope Mill is made uniquely for the Hope Mill. It's made at Hope Mill for Manchester audiences. So that also brings a lot of weight with it, but also makes it even more special, because you're taking something that might have existed at some point on Broadway many years ago, or in the West End, or a big regional house, and we're really taking it and making our own unique version of that show. And again, like with all those shows that you mentioned, Rodgers Hammerstein's is the same. We've never produced a Rodgers Hammerstein musical at Hope Mill before, and they are like, two of the biggest giants, and pretty much created what we now know to the musical form to be. And their shows are known for being so epic and luxurious and gorgeous, and the scores that they write and the scale of the show. And we're taking this 2013 Broadway version that was all bells and whistles, and we're really, although we're keeping that spectacle and that magic, it's been created really intimately for our space. Mm-hmm. So you're really getting a full Rodgers and Hammerstein's epic musical within touching distance.
Wow, that is brilliant. And we've also got two directors here. This is the first time, isn't it, that you've directed together? What is that like?
Well, we're still together.
No, I have to say it's pretty good. I mean, we've now worked together way before Hope Mill even, and we actually met working on a job as actors together 10 years ago or so now. And so we're used to working together, and obviously Hope Mill we've created together, we work together every single day. In a way, it's actually lovely to work together creatively. And I think over the last 4 years, we've talked so much about the show and moments and details and, you know, from wigs to costumes to how we imagine numbers and moments and the magical moments to be. So in a way, it's a joy to be together making something to share. I think in a way, it is a real joy. It's stressful because we have day jobs as well. We run an organization, and it's growing all the time. So it is stressful, but I think we do work well together.
We share a lot of the same interests, and creatively, I think we have the same vision. So I think that helps. But I think there's those moments where, you know, I can step aside and I know that Will can step up, and that's his bag, and vice versa. And I think that throughout the 7 years that we've had Hope Mill, we've just learned that dynamic. But like Will says, I think it is more enjoyable to be creative because it's what we know. You know, being producers, running a venue, all of that extra stuff we had to learn. You know, we didn't know that, but being in a room with creative people and working with actors and choreography and music, and that's what we trained. You know, that's where our passion is. So we're having a lot of fun.
Well,
that's what we're saying.
Say, you look like you're having fun. It doesn't look like there's been any squabbles yet.
We've still got the tech.
You've still got all your hair, Joe. It's fine. Nothing's been pulled out yet, okay? You talk about your past and that you're performing and that career before you came on board with Hope Mill. Does it make you feel, though, when you're directing and choreographing as well, which I know you do, Will, that you want to get back on that stage? And it's almost like, oh, is there going to be a point where we might see you in a Hope Mill production?
No, and I think
never say never.
Never say never. I mean, we've sang at a couple of charity events at Hope Mill, and the nerves are like all consuming because when you've not done it for such a long time. But you know what? I have such when you're what we say on the other side of the table, you have such a newfound respect for how hard the industry is, and also how much, you know, you've got to be at the top of your game and how demanding it can be, physically and emotionally. And I think that when we have stepped away now, and I think that you know, I just love working with people who bring so much to the room and are so talented, and sitting on auditions, especially for this show, because we saw a lot of people and a lot of incredibly talented people, you know, new grads and people that have been in the industry and got amazing credits. And I think that's, to sit there, I feel privileged that we get to see that and get to work with those people.
We get a lot out of giving opportunities, I think, as people. So I think often we don't ever think like that anymore. And I think mainly because we wouldn't want to take opportunities away from other performers. I think that's the thing. That's what got us into Hope Mill in the first place, was we found this love for creating opportunities, and when there isn't maybe enough in this industry. And
I think as well, what has shown is some of the cast members who've maybe made their debut at Hope Mill are now like huge in West End productions, because, you know, you've had the right people come to your theatre to see those productions because they know, you know, you put on great stuff, but then they've been spotted and taken elsewhere. And for you, is it like proud parents?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you never want to feel like, oh, you know, that's because of us. But I think that when you see, you know, new grads or it's professional debuts happen at the Hope Mill, and now I see people flourishing in the West End and lead roles and, you know, big national tours. And yeah, it does. We're very proud of that, because I'm happy for them, because, you know, they've come, you know, up to Manchester and worked at the Hope Mill, and they've created that path for themselves. But also, yes, we do feel like proud parents every time we see a cast announcement and someone that's just been on a Hope Mill show is doing, you know, something on the next level. It's really inspiring.
And sometimes it just takes a little bit of exposure, the right person, the right place, the right time, and then it was always going to happen, but maybe it's just happened because all those things collided.
On the flip side, though, I've got to say, it's like the big names that are already established, they want to come here too. You've had Dame Maureen Lipman, she's come twice. Ruthie Henshaw, Tracy Bennett. It's like, who might we get next, Joe and Will?
We just have to wait and see. No, that's incredible as well, because again, people like Ruthie, Tracy, Maureen, you know, they're people that again, you know, you've known for years on television or on the stage, and so then when they come to the Hope Mill, you're like, oh my God, they're at our little theatre, and it is a real honour. And so we hope that as well as supporting emerging talent, that people like your theatre stars and TV stars continue to come and work at Hope Mill as well, because I think they want to challenge themselves and they want to, you know, be part of that intimacy and creating something from nothing. And I think that's what makes it really special. So
there's also something amazing about Manchester audiences, and especially, you know, Hope Mill being small, it's kind of like you get that amazing group of people to experience something, and it does feel intimate, it does feel special, it does feel like you've got the golden ticket almost.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got a high five us Manchester audiences, because I do feel that we are the best. And also, before I let you guys go, I have to mention another thing that you have definitely got right. Remember Aspects of Love, guys, at the Hope Mill Theatre. It's only coming back to London. I think they've actually saw how good your revival of it was. And then Michael Ball now has decided to play the uncle, George. Of course, he's a bit too old for Alex, but I was like, they've pinched it. They've pinched it because they knew how good it was at your theatre.
Michelle, no comment. I don't think we would be able to say anything in case we upset anyone. But
that's true. But our revival, it was a beautiful revival. That revival, I have to say, and it brought that show, I think, to a lot of new audiences. A lot of people that thought Aspects of Love is not for me. I think, to be honest, I was probably one of those people. And it's only when it really came to life with the cast that we managed to assemble. It was something truly special, I have to say. And it's due another revival on an even bigger platform to bring more people to that show.
And I think there is an intimacy about that show that actually, I think, did work at Hope Mill, and then when we took it to Southwark. So yeah, I'm really excited to see this new version.
Well, I'm really excited to see Cinderella, as it will never be seen before. And I think it's amazing to get Rodgers and Hammerstein at the Hope Mill Theatre. You're going to make this gold. You always make things gold, honestly. And I just look forward to what 2023 brings for Hope Mill, because I know it's going to be truly exciting. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. Well, I meant every word of that. Hope Mill Theatre is fantastic. Those guys are geniuses, and Cinderella is going to be one hell of a production. I hope that whet your appetite. Do go and see it. It opens next week at Hope Mill Theatre in Ancoats. And if you like the show tonight, spread the word and join us again next Sunday at 8 o'clock. We'll be right here on I Love Manchester's Facebook page, and we'll also be streaming on our very own Live in the Hive Facebook page as well. Until then, if you want to find out about theatre, go to the I Love Manchester website. It's got it all on there. And also give us a follow on our socials. We're at Live in the Hive 21 on Twitter and Instagram. I'll see you next week on Sunday. Till then, have a great time, and I'll see you soon.